I'm back. Wanted to make a quick little video, kind of like a little review of the Civil War movie, and it was good. I liked it. It was great. Um, Guys like Tim Pool have already been screeching, "Oh my God, it's a leftist film!" And I don't think it's a leftist film. I think they knew who their target audience was, and which was the normies. And you ask any normie their view on Trump, that's going to be nothing but negative. So it was targeted at liberals, but not entirely. I don't think so, because if you really think about it, if you get down to it, I mean, I'll get to it right now, but it was pretty good. I was excited for it, and I don't think my excitement was mainly the reason why I liked it. I think it was a well shot movie. It didn't let up either. It's like the moments that there wasn't anything going on. Like it was like pretty like one guy. I don't want to take his words, but he was saying it was well paced. So it wasn't like I was just like nothing. It was just like boring at points. No, everything was it was interesting. Everything that they were doing. I mean, I guess I'll give some spoilers. I mean, because it's pretty simple. It's just I mean, I guess I'll give it away most of the leftist parts. There's one point where Tim Pool at first pointed out that it was an American chick with an American flag going to bomb a water tanker, and saying that, oh, that's pure leftist, like that leftist propaganda. I was just like, and I can agree to an extent. There is propaganda movies for leftists, and they take many shapes and forms, but there's also propaganda films for right wingers. Not only that, it's just I feel like every military movie is a propaganda film for the military industrial complex. It's plain and simple. They are, but I digress. But yeah, that scene, it kind of like it made me think. I was just like, because you're not really let know how it happened. This Civil War, and so the whole time you're thinking what led up to it. And so if you go by that logic, some American chick, some like patriot chick, putting on a suicide bomber vest, to bomb a water tanker. I mean, you can come up with any kind of idea. I don't, it's like you can justify it. I mean, not to mention too, it's like we haven't had a civil war since, like, I'm not even going to say we, because it's like no one here has partaken in a civil war. No one here, I bet you hardly anybody actually has, like, the descendancy of people that actually fought in the Civil War. So it's like, I'm just going to say, yeah, that's like none of us have any relation to any of the Civil Wars, unless you're like, I don't know, whatever. But who's to say anything can happen in a Civil War? I mean, you think the right is like literally filled with like, the most righteous people? It's like, dude, there's wackos on every side. There were dudes that straight up gobbled up that psyop, that the Q people. They gobbled that up like nothing. They gobbled up January 6th, Fed psyop, a little honeypot, and yeah, no, I mean, who's to say that? Yeah, they don't start thinking like the Islamist jihadists that they were screeching about before. And next thing you know, the idea of martyrdom sounds pretty good, So it's like, so yeah, that's just like stuff like that. There is like also like mention of the Antifa massacre. I mean, take with that what you will too. It can mean anything. It can mean like like another channel was there talking about it, saying that it was just like, oh yeah, it can mean that either Antifa was massacred or Antifa caused a massacre. And so I mean, take what you want. The only one that really kind of got me is that this is where I knew it was the target was definitely liberals. Not only because you're following a bunch of journalists, and the journalists are the good guys, and they're shown in such a good light. It's like they're made to look badass, and you really like the team that you're with. But it was also that one of the guys, the fat guy, old fat guy, I forget his name. He ended up actually like talking about how like the president is evil because he disbanded the FBI, And I was like, that's the only one that was just kind of like, I don't think that would make a president a bad guy. I think that would make a president. It's like, okay, maybe one of the few things, good things a president can do. But other than that, though, I mean, shoot, like they followed a group of Boogaloo boys. Yeah, like they were literally one of the first action first scenes of action that you actually get in the movie is like besides the explosion is like they're covering a bunch of Boogaloo boys. I don't know who they were fighting, but they must have been fighting either the government or I don't know, Western forces. I don't know. I really don't. Because some of their on the Western forces guys, they were wearing, all of them were wearing multicam, and I think some of the government forces were wearing multicam, so it was kind of hard to track. So I don't know if it was like Boogaloo versus Western forces, which are also technically like they're a rebel faction. So, but yeah, I mean, have what you will. It wasn't like they were like pinning like the Boogaloo boys. Well, I mean, they technically did. They tried to pin them out like straight up like cold-blooded murderers. But I mean, it's a civil war. Everyone's going to be doing that. Even the good guys are going to be like in cold blood, just executing people. And but yeah, no, it was great. I would recommend it. Man, it was fun. It was like the last scene. I'm not gonna spoil it because I'm not gonna just go over and talk about like the action, but the scene where they actually get to the White House. Wow, it was well done. And yeah, just the whole time I was thinking like, because all of us dudes that are into guns, and we've been just like politically entrenched in all this nonsense. It's like we're just like dude, anytime now it's gonna happen. So this whole flavor of what a civil war could be like, it was actually kind of refreshing. I was just like, okay, like I think I could speak for a lot of us that were thinking, okay, what's civil war gonna look like? We were just kind of like, it's nice to see it being put into a movie. It capitalized on us too. That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't just like, pure liberal libturd talking points, because in the end, it's like you'll see at the end. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I mean, that's kind of like everyone that's like into like hardcore politics or extreme politics, or that's been radicalized. It's like it doesn't matter who's the face of it or what he represents. It's like it's like that's it. The ending is very based. I'm gonna leave it at that. So yeah, it was just a fun, good time. The people that are screeching about it are literally dudes like Tim Pool, that is saying it's leftist nonsense, are the same dudes that go on tirades. It's like talking about how this movie's the best movie ever made. You got to watch it. It's like you're talking about Sound of Freedom, and I'm pretty sure it was good, but it also kind of seemed, the Sound of Freedom, I've been hearing some things about it, sounded like it was just kind of like, it was just like a marketing ploy. It's just like, bring awareness to sex trafficking, whatever, who knows, give money to the people to help out, but I don't know. But I don't know, yeah, those guys, it's like you can't take Tim Pool's opinion seriously. I mean the dude's a liberal. And he's literally getting closer and closer to like hardcore like right-wing, like talking points. It's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like the dude's pro-choice. It's like anyone that's on the right that's still taking him seriously. It's just like, bro, it's like, what are you doing? He's saying the right things. He knows what he's doing. He is in the position he is now. The way he is now is only because of Krigler. Krigler is the one that basically sounded the alarm that like, okay, this is where everybody's going. You should probably, follow suit, because Krigler was pro-Trump, whatever, so it's like, that's exactly, like what, a lot of his fan base was like wanting him to, to do. So I think that's what, Tim Fool decided to go with. He saw, okay, Krigler, okay, he's got it right here. I can keep my base if I start talking like they do. But Civil War for the soul of a nation. Great movie. I like to say I'm easily impressed, but I would easily give it like I would have to say like an 8 out of 10. It's a fun movie, great movie. It's kind of based, You know, if you can get past the idea that, you know, there's a group of journalists is actually like trying to be journalists and are trying to actually like do the right thing and let people know, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, you know, we all understand it's a movie, and it has to be some suspension of disbelief. So, but honestly, yeah, it's just like